Hello and welcome to Diniz Farms. We're back with another episode of Mercer County by MRG Mapping, and we're playing on the edit by Diniz Farms. Today we're going to be diving back into getting some of this product spread on our fields. We are trying to get the pH levels on all of our fields in a good state here. There's a lot of discussion in the comments below about this not being how you spread lime. And while technically I would agree with you, there's a lot of different products in real life that you can use to do this, not just lime. I know in Minnesota, at least, we used to use potash, and we did knife it into the ground kind of like this. We used it a lot like any other dry fertilizer, and so, you know, there's a few different techniques for doing that. We're just limited by the mechanisms available to us in Farm Sim here. And so we're going to keep cranking on this. This setup has actually been working surprisingly well. I'm really liking it. I was a little worried that with such a narrow bar that this was going to be a job that took a long time. But with the size of our fields and how fast this implement goes, I'm not too worried about it. So we have made one other change to the farm since last episode. And that has been that we're switching out the 7810 that we had in the shed there hooked up to the planter with a slightly bigger tractor. Not because I felt like we needed the horsepower, but because it was a mod that just got released by Diniz Farms. And it's the 7030 series large frame that he had. And I just kind of figured that it would go well with this since we're running the 8030 series here as well. And so now that I'm thinking about it, I think we might actually switch that out right now because that 7030 is going to pull this setup really well, and we might have another use for this 8530 here in just a little bit. And so we're going to pair up that slightly smaller tractor here with the job that we're doing right now, partly just because I want to get it out in the field and take a look at it, and partly because I don't want to use a tractor that is too far overpowered for the job, and it'll just give us a little bit more flexibility with that 8530. So I did go with the 7830. This is not the biggest. I think there's a 7930 option as well. So we could get a little bit more horsepower out of this if we had wanted to, but I think the 7830 is going to do the trick for our farm. And it's going to give us just a little bit larger frame of a tractor for that planting setup. The 7810 probably would have done the job, but this is definitely going to get the job done. So we will need to just get our GPS track reconfigured here. Actually, what we might do is, well, we're going to get the GPS going. And then I think what we'll do is after we get back to the other end of the field here, we're going to need to refill our product here. We've got the GPS set up. I'm horrible at talking and doing things at the same time some days, apparently. So we'll get this filled up as soon as we get to the end of the field here. We've got 6% left, so I think what we'll do is actually just bring that seed tender right over here on the headland. We'll get turned around here, and we should be able to just bring it right up here behind our applicator here. I guess we'd call that an applicator. We're not really doing any amount of tillage with this thing. We've apparently got it set so low that we're just getting the product put into the top layer of the soil here, since we're getting no tillage out of it. That might be something that I would edit in the future for this mod, is just to maybe make it set up to do a little bit of tillage. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research on these toolbars and see what they're intended to do. I'm just, you know, kind of looking at what we've got on here right now. I mean, we don't really have any tillage on here. This is just a single cutting wheel and putting in the dry product there. So I really wouldn't expect it to do much at this stage. but I've seen bars like this that are set up like strip tillers where you've got some actual tillage on the row. Something to think about. All right, we've got this all filled up. I think what I'm gonna do is just pull the truck over here. I think we're gonna probably need to fill up before we're done with this field. And so we're gonna leave him out here. Get our tanks all closed up. And if we line up here on our new row, we should be able to just kick this guy back off. And I think we're actually going to switch over and let a worker take over this job. The worker should work. This is a pretty simple setup, and we've got big headlands. And we're going to jump back over to the farm, and we're going to get the big 9520 out of the shed here with this plow on it. And we've got one field here. Wow, that's got some noise to it. Got my headphones up just a smidge louder than anticipated. And so we're going to grab this 9520, and we're going to take this out to this field here behind our farm. And we're actually going to plow this up. We had some wheat in this field the previous year, it looks like, but it's a field that's kind of overdue for some tillage. It's got a lot of compaction, and so we just need to get out here and do a bit of tillage to it here. We're still in the early part of spring, and so we're trying to get everything set up. Normally I would have liked to get out here in the fall to do some tillage, but you know, sometimes you just don't quite manage to get all the jobs done that you want in the fall. And now we're going to be able to hit this up now and hopefully get this field into a state that has it ready for planting here in the coming weeks. I have recently demoed this tractor and plow combination on the channel a few weeks ago in kind of an early look video, and I really liked it so much that I had to get it out into a series like this. The lower animation for this plow is a touch slower than I'm used to, so we're gonna have to think about that. We've got kind of a narrow area back here. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to continue these angles that way. We're gonna actually jump over here onto the other side real quick. With such a small area to work with, we might have to just do a little bit more traditional up and down rows here on this tillage. I usually like to work some of it at an angle, but these are pretty small fields, and so we're gonna just hit this hit the main section here at an angle, and then we probably just head around the field a few times to wrap up the rest of this. But this was the one field that we had, if we look at the soil composition here, that needed to get some plowing done to it. And so we're gonna hit that off here today. This tractor and plow combination is just such a sweet match. It looks good, it works really good, and so I've been super excited about it. So we jumped into tillage here on a pretty aggressive angle, unfortunately. I was not paying attention when we got started, and with the way that multi-terrain angle and stuff works, it caught me by surprise when our GPS track kind of took a slightly more angled turn here than I anticipated. But we're gonna just ignore GPS now and clean up the straggler bits here, and then because this is such a small field and kind of an oddly shaped field, I think we're gonna just jump in and tackle this in a slightly more normal way. We'll probably take these bits here at a little bit shallower of an angle, and then we'll come back and clean up the headlands afterwards. But it looks like our other worker here is going to need a little bit of attention in just a second here. So I think what we're going to do is just actually take this headland piece off here, since we already did the bulk of that section, and then we'll just set this guy off on a worker along the fence line, and we'll go deal with this other tractor setup. We want to get that product in and get him moving, because that's the longer job that we have. We've got a lot of product that we need to get put into the ground here over the course of this episode, so I want to make sure we get done with that job so that we're ready to move on to, you know, kind of the next stage, next jobs here. I've got to keep things moving. We've only got so much time in the spring here to get everything ready to go. Planting season is right around the corner, and so it looks like this guy's gonna be good to go here. And here we came up just a pass short, it looks like, on spreading all of this product. So let's just go grab the truck and bring it down here alongside the edge of the field here and get him filled up in place rather than running the tractor all the way up to the other end of the field, because the next field over here is where we're headed anyway. And we've got this nice wide grassy area here in between the two fields that we can use as a kind of a road to get in between our fields and the farm here. And we're gonna just get this filled up with what product we have right now. It looks like we probably don't have enough to top him all the way off, which is fine, but we should have enough to get this last little section done. And then what we'll do is set him up on this field next to us, and we'll have to run back up and get some more lime. Now it looks like our worker on the plow not so much figuring things out, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and just take this headland off here real quick to give us some area to work, and then we'll go get some more product for this guy and get everything back on track here. It looks like I thought we were going to be able to get some help from our workers, but not so much today. Everybody's just a bit needy. Alright, we're coming back up here with our load of lime, and I think we're going to be able to just pull in here alongside the neighbor's barn. As you can see from the tire tracks, that's where we pulled out of. And just use our handy dandy grass strip area here to get back here. Now I'm pointed the wrong way to fill up this lime. I think we're just going to turn around on the field. That's going to be our easiest path forward. And then I will probably need to hop out here and open up this fertilizer tank again. Alright, we've got this lime sorted out. We had a little bit of a game crash here, so I'm not exactly sure where things are going to line up in editing here, so I'm just going to throw that out there. It seemed to be related to this toolbar we're using for putting the lime in, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're going to try and move on here, and hopefully we don't have any more problems. But we've got a bunch of lime put back into it here, so we're gonna get this guy set back up on a worker and keep him moving. Actually, we're gonna take over for a minute now that I think about it, and we need to come take some headland passes off here on the other end of this field. That's going to let us keep this worker moving a little bit more under control. I really don't want him trying to turn around on the road. I don't think I've seen any traffic on this map yet, but you never know. And so we're just going to take this headland pass off, do a full round. This field's actually quite a bit bigger than I originally gave it credit for in my mind when I was looking at it. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of refilling here. I guess I could close our fertilizer tank. And so this is going to be quite the field when it comes to finishing up getting this lime spread for sure. But other than that, it's going to be a good field for us to get some corn going on here, I think, this year. Hopefully we're not going to run into any problems there. And this field we don't actually own, so I probably shouldn't be Shouldn't be turning around on that, and it looks like the lime spreading works even when we've got the toolbar raised. And so I should probably remember to turn that off while we're turning around as well. But if we take a quick look at the precision farming map here, the mini map, we are getting our lime spread pretty good here. No problems whatsoever. And I guess we could take a look at the larger map and see the same thing. Our soil types, we've got a lot of sandy loam here. And so not the best soil, but not too bad. It's about average actually, so we should see, you know, base game yields on all of our crops using that. So that's kind of exciting. And let's get this guy going here. We should be able to now get a worker to take over this bit for us. However, I think what we're going to do before that is we're actually going to stop right here and just top off this tank since we're here. There's no sense in avoiding the convenience of being exactly where the refill is, and I know we've got plenty of capacity in the tank to hold what's left of our lime here in this tender. And so I'm all about trying to make the most efficient use of our time. And it looks like we might be just a little bit too close. The unload arc on this tender is a little bit farther away than you'd think it is. Not quite that far though. Okay, there we go. Takes a little bit to get it lined up occasionally. Looks like we got it topped off here. And so one of these two mods is causing quite a few errors in the log, so we're gonna have to be a little bit careful here. I haven't yet figured out if it's the seed tender or this fertilizer bar, so we may need to dig into that just a little bit off camera at some point here. But in the meantime, we're gonna keep things moving here, and hopefully we don't run into any more problems. We'll be saving frequently. And we need to jump back over into this plow now. And so I know a lot of you are probably screaming in your heads when I started plowing at such a steep angle here. Realistically, I think we'd probably have done maybe, I don't know, you know, somewhere between 7 and 10% off of normal from a degrees perspective. So this is a pretty steep angle, I'm thinking, from what I would have done in real life. So sometimes with a multi-terrain angle, I always hate when you're driving at an angle in the game that doesn't match up with multi-terrain angle. And so I have a tendency to use a steeper angle than I might in real life just to make the textures behind me line up and look good. And there's not a lot of degrees on the way that this map has been set up at this point. I probably would have gone with a few more degrees in multi-terrain angle personally, but you know, that comes with some side effects. It does use up more channels. I think that it performs a little bit worse, so you know, it's always a trade-off when you're doing some of these things. And so we're gonna live with our little bit steeper of an angle for tillage here. Either way, this is not gonna be a job that takes very long. We're going to just tackle the rest of this here real quick. I think what we're gonna do actually is get turned around here and just take the rest of this a little bit more normally. With plowing, you typically don't want to necessarily do like your headlands and stuff first, but with this small of an area back here to plow, I think what we're gonna do is just go around in a circle and take out the rest of this tillage that needs to be done more or less the old-fashioned way, quote-unquote, I'll say. And by old-fashioned, I mean more like the farm sim way. And we're not going to be able to let a worker do any of this, I don't think, just because there's a lot of trees and obstructions and stuff here. And so we're just going to take it out ourselves. I am going to give ourselves a little bit of a headland pass here to make life easier, assuming that I can stay out of the trees myself. I'm apparently not much better of a driver than a farm sim worker, but that's nothing new to anybody that's been with the channel for any length of time. And if we just jump in cab here, we can see I'm doing good. I love this combination. This tractor and the tillage work out pretty good. I love that it's nice and bouncy in the cab. Feels authentic, especially driving over a plowed field like that. You can see over here, you know, kind of what I'm talking about with the multi-terrain angle. There's just not a lot of angles between the different modes. So I think this is probably one setting below where I usually run my maps when I convert them over for multi-terrain angle when they don't have it at all. But it still looks so much better than base game. And so that's why multi-terrain angle is just one of those must-haves for me on any map that I play. And if it doesn't have it, it's the first thing that I usually add in. And so I'm super excited to see that this map does have it added in. And we're just having a hard time with this articulated tractor today. I find these big articulated tractors tend to work the best on much larger fields. When you get into small fields like this where you're having to do a lot of turning around, it gets to be just a bit of a pain to manage. Partly because it's, I guess it's not that they don't turn tight enough, but when you turn with them, the implement kind of has not a mind of its own, but it swings pretty wide because of the way that the articulated tractor turns. And so it's, at least for somebody who's not used to driving one, a little bit less predictable for me getting things lined up. You've got to really know how wide your implement is and be able to envision that as you're turning the tractor a lot more, because the implement isn't going to be where you think it's going to be until it's too late to correct it. So it's kind of get it right the first time, or you're going to be backing up. But either way, we're almost done tilling up these acres, and we will be done with tillage for this year. We don't have a lot of tillage that we need to do. I'm not sure if the planter we have, though, is set up for no-till or not at this point. Definitely something we're going to try and see. But we do have the strip tiller set up that we're going to be able to run our fields up with if we need to ahead of the planters. So we're definitely going to take a look at that here and see how that goes. Like I said, this field was kind of unique in that we needed to plow it up. It was in a state that just wasn't going to take our crops this year. And we're going to get this thing all folded up here. Now, I know a lot of people have texted me about this plow. This is something that Perma's Modding is working on, and it's still a work in progress. He's got a few things that he's still looking into, and I don't think he's quite released it yet on his Facebook page. I haven't had a chance to check Facebook here in the last week or so, but I would follow along on his Facebook page for sure and see where that's at. He's definitely going to make some announcements when it's ready to go. So with that done, let's run back out here, check on our fertilizer spreader. It looks like he is once again ready for some more fertilizer. And so we're gonna get out to the truck here. I think we've got just a little bit of lime left. And so let's just run this out there, get him topped off, and then we will have to head back up to town and get another load. Alright, we didn't have a whole lot in here, so I don't think that's even gonna get our worker up to the end row here, but it's better than nothing, I guess. So we'll go ahead and let him take off here and get going. And we'll run up and get another load. I'm hoping maybe one more load is going to finish this off. Probably not, since we did a full load to get this far. It looks like we're going to need probably about 2 more loads to finish this field. And so we're making good progress, though. And I know he's going to be done long before we get back, so we better just get on the road here and get driving. So we've got the product all topped off here, and we're heading back down the rows, so hopefully we're going to be able to knock out the rest of the acres on this field here. Today has been a little bit of an off episode for me. We've got a lot of jobs done, but we've had a lot of technical issues behind the scenes. So I'm going to pull up my log here just for a second to show you guys. But my log has been getting spammed with these errors, and I haven't yet figured out which mod it is. And so I'm going to be doing some digging, but it's causing lots of game lag and freezes and things like that. And so we definitely need to get that sorted out, because it does not make for a very good recording environment. And so we're gonna probably cut today's episode a little bit short. I had hoped to knock out a couple more jobs today, but I think we're gonna run with what we have here, and rest assured we will be picking this back up in our next episode. We'll probably wrap up a good amount of the rest of this lime spreading off camera, and then next episode we're going to have a few new things to go over. One is the community extensions mod, which I have downloaded but not set up on this save yet, and then the other is we're probably going to be jumping into planting season here, because once we get this lime spread, there's not a whole lot left for us to do on the farm here. And I know a lot of people have been asking for animals on this map, because Diniz Farms did a lot of edits that change how animals work. And so I'm going to think about that. We might look into that here at some point. Maybe we'll start off with just some calves or something here in an area of the farm, or maybe we'll look at buying one of these small dairy farms that are in the area. And so we'll keep working on it, and we'll see where this series goes. However, that's all for today. Kedrick, out. So what we're going to do, we're going to just set this worker. We're going to... just so that everything looks nice. And we're getting, way far into the bushes there.